Mat Podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 19 of Better Hit the Mat Podcast, allegedly a fitness podcast. Look who's back, pointing the wrong way again.
Never.
And I'm
fails.
okay. I am live.
And I've heard he's quite shady.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Did you make the most of your week off? 'Cause
So
you're
much
never
so,
having
yeah.
another one. Sorry, what?
No, it was good. Good birthday. I'm 40 years old now, guys. Who would have thought? I never going to make it that far, especially after being kidnapped. So, it's a rough time.
On that one, just shut up, because when I think of all you've achieved in your life and you're 4 years younger than me, I'm beginning to like you less.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? Cheers. Cheers to you, you salty fuck. Jesus.
Cheers.
I'm on the carver this evening.
It's quite fancy. You're always doing it fancy, though.
I'm on the White Lightning.
Look at the bubbles. Look at the bubbles. So, yeah.
Those tiny bubbles.
I'm also, because lockdown hair has reached the point of no return, I'm wearing the baseball cap the douche way round, and I've gone for the bling bling. Got me Smitty's Run medal.
Nice.
Why can I not
Very
go
cool.
to the correct side of this microphone? It's that way. There. Look at that. There. It's only been 19 shows. Show
Come on,
20.
you're an instructor. Just know opposite side, right?
That's it.
Opposite side.
Does
Ricky
not
Tran,
compute.
ladies and gentlemen.
Still getting it. RT. So what's the current state of the lockdown there?
It was my birthday this weekend. Following
It
on from
was. That was our next.
You're a trendsetter. This is why I'm drinking Carver. So for the first weekend in, I don't know how long, I had friends round in the garden yesterday, but being the UK, and it being a Saturday and a weekend in April, it pissed it down with rain and was 7 degrees. So we had a gazebo up, an air blower outside, and everyone was wearing blankets and several layers. And they kindly ate dinner and went, that was lovely, but we're fucking freezing. Bye. So, so haircuts from tomorrow, I believe. So, of course, that means you've got to wait the 5 weeks until all the bookings ahead of you have been done. And then,
Pub's open tomorrow too, no?
yes. Yeah.
I saw Jen. She said Happy Pub Eve.
Yes.
Pub Day
yes.
Eve. So, yeah.
Lots of people very excited about that.
Bring on the
Is that
fight.
all throughout
Bring
Europe, or is
on
that
the
just UK?
spike.
That's just
I-
England. That's just
Oh,
England.
okay. 'Cause I have a buddy of mine in Germany. He has an Irish pub. He's been shut down.
Germany's in a much worse state than us because the whole state of
Isn't it a
vaccines is
different
not
country?
Is it a different country? It's a different state.
So the thing about Great Britain, for those people who don't know, is it's a devolved setup. So each country that makes up the United Kingdom has its own devolved government, which makes their own policy on things like lockdowns and stuff like that. So, but they're similar, a few days apart on the same sort of things. So generally,
Yeah. We have that here in America, but nobody listens, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, Tom, you got kidnapped.
Got kidnapped.
How are you feeling
How's that
about
bruise?
how are you feeling about jack straps now?
There's mixed emotions now. It's a little PTSD every time I put them on.
Yep.
Especially
When you hear
even worse when I hear that crank, or anytime I see a bottle of baby oil. I'm fucked, guys. I'm just having some serious issues with that. The fact that he lit his beard on fire, I thought we did a lot to putting our end to it. The fact that I know that he burned his beard doing that stupid bit, I am so happy about that.
And did you catch the stinger at the end of the episode?
I did. That was the best part.
Brilliant.
He told me it was coming. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. So
Just a quick on-air show note. Perhaps we should, at least on the audio side, mention a roll-in, like, hey, we're going to a 3-minute video here.
yeah. Do you know-
awesome comment from Steve Hyland. He's like, everything just went dark, and I have no idea what I was
Head was
listening.
broken.
Nothing like
Yeah,
trying to
so-
get you to come over to YouTube for,
That's
you know.
it. This is an audio. This is a video podcast.
Exactly. To our podcast listeners, we call it a podcast, but it's actually the term I hate.
Videocast?
It's a vodcast.
Vodcast.
Oh, podcast.
Primarily. So if it doesn't make sense, it's a kick up the arse to go and look at it. I used to have that with an American comedy thing I listened to, and they used to do a funny bit at the end of the show, and they used to put like visual cues up on the screen, and of course they released it as a podcast, and everyone's laughing. I'm like, I got no idea. So I used to then go and look it up on
American
YouTube.
humor.
A
So
little
you want to tell us
charades podcast.
how was the PC, man?
Crazy. That was
Yeah.
one of the craziest experiences I've had. I was only there for 2 days. I know there was a lot of comments about the heart rate. I thought that was the best thing of the whole trip. So the reason why it should have even been higher than that. So I landed, it was Monday and Tuesday. I got into Atlanta Monday morning, got an Uber to the PC, got dropped off. I'm there. Now, you guys have seen those other live workouts. I just assumed it was going to be me on a stage by myself. I assumed there was going to be editing. I assumed there was going to be like a chill atmosphere. No. So I got there, and then Dallas walks in. Our agreement was, I don't know if you guys have seen the newer style Jack workouts that he was filming in his house, 2 workouts in one. So they would do 35 to 40 minutes. They would hit safety zone. And then that would be the end of beginner, or like an intermediate style workout. Then they would make it into a longer workout. So they'd have 2 filmed workouts. So he told me to do that. So for this last couple months, I've been, just repeating that same sequence over and over, getting that one workout ready. Mm-hmm. So I get there and he's like, you got 3 workouts, bro, make them 50 minutes. And I was like, and you're on stage in 10. So there was people there, which I didn't expect. Lots of people, awesome people, really, really cool people to meet. Anthony Ogogo was there. Liam McMorrow was there, who's going to be maybe 80 of his next big thing that he's been training with Cody Rhodes. We had Zicky Dice, who's another independent wrestler, who was there. A lot of the people from the PC. So it was really, really cool cast of characters being there. But the second I hit that stage and knew that he was behind me, just like you guys said, it was just like, I had all that stuff planned out, blank, done. So I know there's some things I missed. I know there was a side I missed doing some stuff. It was about 100 degrees in there too. So when I weighed myself, when I got back, 9 pounds lighter.
Wow.
Tuesday afternoon, 9 pounds. And I ate like a pig. I drank as much water as I could, but it was still 9 pounds of fluid that I lost.
I can tell you why that is. It's because Hayden's the only one who knows how the aircon works in the PC, and he moved back to the UK, and they've actually not been able to use it since. So that's
the craziest. It's the lights. I didn't think about that with how
studio light,
how hot those lights would be. And so I taught one class when I first got there, 50 minutes. About 10 minutes later, I'm teaching my second class. Enough time to change my shirt, like kind of get this mess back together.
Get the sheen off.
Get the sheen off. And it was a sheen, I'm telling you. I left all myself all over that stage. So workout 2. And then I was on stage. Yeah, I did.
Nice outtake. But
I did. It's everywhere. Then I did. Roman Rosell did a class after that. So I was on stage for that. So 3 workouts in, as soon as I got there. And then we did a bunch of interviews, photo shoots, things like that for the Jack program. And then the next morning I had to do another workout first thing in the morning, and then literally got off stage, took my shirt off, changed the shirt, back on a plane, back to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Straight to work.
Luckily I had the day off. Thank God. But it was madness, but it was so much fun. It was just one of those things where you guys that have been to the PC know the environment that they have there, the culture they have there. It's just an amazing thing. And it just is so outrageous. They knew all about us. They knew all about the show. We had so many people that cameramen that I didn't know. They're like, yeah, Garrett was there. I got to say hi to Garrett and talk to him for a little bit. He congratulated us on this. He thought it was a great job. So
hey, speaking of Garrett, he's going to be the next with us for the next First Friday coming up.
Oh,
really?
nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
Winning.
Yes.
But
oh God, so the production department's watching this. I'm sorry.
A lot of people had mentioned
sorry about the editing. I'm so sorry.
Are you kidding me? Our competition, I'm saying it right here live, is we're beating them. We're beating them. Our production level, because we got Boz.
That's right.
We got the big B.
Exactly.
Yeah, Steve Yu was our biggest. He was the happiest about it, which was really cool. So it was really cool to talk to Steve. I got to spend a lot of time with Steve. And then the biggest thing is I got to spend tons of time with Dallas. So I picked his brain about all sorts of different things. It was really, really, really fun, quick time. It's not going to be my last one. I definitely have some other things coming up in the future. for that, which would be good. So I'll let you guys know when they're. We have no idea what the scheduling is because he's got so many workouts that are backed up that they film at the house every single day. They were using the PC for like just basically 2 days. Roman does his classes for the Warriors Purpose there. So he brings vets in and they do live DDP classes, but it's not open to anybody else. So they do a lot of filming and stuff on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then their crew goes down to Florida on Wednesday and gets all that done with AEW. I got to tell you, one of the coolest things that I got to do was I hung out with Steve, and Steve filmed that crazy match they did for AEW, which had Sting and Darby Allin.
Yep.
That cinematic match. I sat down with Steve and he walked through that entire, how it was filmed. And it was like sitting down with a director watching a movie and then, on the track, them telling you everything. That was insane. I mean, the fact that they pulled it off, if you guys haven't seen that match.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's insane. It's so
Sting
crazy.
Actually looked like $1 million. Darby sold like death. Taz was finally, don't you wrestling sucks me, you asshole. You would fucking love it. It was like a horror film.
It's a film. It's not even a wrestling match. It's legitimately a film. But that was crazy to be able to just kind of see the insight and how they practice the different, video moves and stuff like that, because there's so many different innovative camera moves. They were into the ring and out. They were using sort of wires, they're using drones, all sorts of crazy stuff. So
the only downside to that match was that they let commentary talk over it live, and it was bad move.
Yeah.
So
that was one of Steve's big mention.
Yeah. I hope when they if they ever release a DVD, which they will, they do, they still DVDs, not Blu-rays, which is kind of weird, but put it out there, add an alternate version of it, no commentary, just let the guys speak for it. So, let the work speak for itself. So,
yeah.
Well, I have a friend who works for a production company in Pinewood in England, and they do stuff on Netflix and whatever. So he's been in the industry a long time, and one of his favorite things to watch is the Eurovision Song Contest. And it was like, it's considered the most cheesy, crappy thing on television in Europe. I fucking love it, because what we do is every year we get on Twitter and we watch it and we just make jokes constantly about the performance, what's going on. And it's just it's one of the 2 times of the year I go on Twitter. And, but he says some of the most inventive camera moves he's ever seen are in Eurovision. And he looked one up on YouTube once and, watch this! And it came like down through the audience, up onto the stage, around the singer, back down. And it turns out they'd use a Steadicam on a Segway to do it. And he's like, it's just insane. And he's like, Eurovision sometimes just has the most creative production values with the cheesiest, shittiest Europop on the stage.
Steve actually did a lot of filming on there on a Segway. They have this little Segway they use for it. It was legit, like how they did
Steadicam. I mean, congrats. Mr. Hollywood
thanks,
now,
man.
shit, but like,
cheers.
Kenny killed it in your absence, I think.
He did. He was awesome, man. He's so funny. He's such a quick-witted guy.
His nutrition segment was so much better than yours. Sorry to say.
Yes, absolutely.
I got to follow that up this week. Got to follow it up.
In all seriousness, though, he stepped right in with little to no prep at all. Because we're just kind of we say, hey, let's go with it. We make a quick script and just run with it, and he knocked it out of the park. And script, and then but like, we've had really good feedback with people talking about him sharing his story, because everybody kind of knows him from the crazy videos and everything, or interesting emails, but they don't realize that dude has worked his ass off to get where he is, both mentally, physically. His entire recovery, it wasn't just weight loss and muscle development. It's when they talk about lifestyle changes, he made them like big lifestyle changes. And I think a lot of people will probably walked away from that show, or at least from that aspect of that show, with a lot more respect for him within the community, more than they probably already had. So,
I mean, part of that was probably because he set his beard on fire, but
absolutely. But yes,
honestly,
he gave me
Kenny. I had a visceral reaction when he said that, because that film I mentioned at the end of the podcast, like, I was in the UK premiere of that, and the director was there, and we were like, the scene that this guy's whole, like, big beard down here, whole thing on fire, and you're like, that is not CG. And we're like, how did you do that? And he's like, we set the guy's fucking head on fire. What?
Holy
like, he grew that beard to be burned. So,
whoa.
Commitment.
Commitment
to his craft.
Wow.
And then also big thank you to John Reap. Guy's really, really busy. It was great to have him on. hopefully somebody, everybody checked out his podcast and maybe looked into a little bit more of his comedy and
or booked a cabin.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
I mean, really, the important thing is people need to realize, and I think he's done a great job to distance himself from those Dodge commercials. He is more than that Hemi guy. But, and he just what a kind person. Have you talked to him much about it, Travis?
Yeah, we actually had class today, and we talked about it. So yeah, he enjoyed it, man. He enjoyed it. So
I say he was so generous with his time, and every time we're thinking, oh, we're holding him too long. You get conscious when you got a celeb on. You're like, we need to rattle on, and he kept bringing stuff up. It's like he was happy to be here. We're like, you want to keep talking? We keep rolling. That's brilliant.
Yeah, he really did. He really loved the beer label. So Boz, that was all you bringing that up, but he really loved the beer label thing.
I've still got it here. Actually, I need to drink it. Erg beer. But what are the chances? Like 3 to 4 days after that, I'm driving near Warwick. There's a big castle there. People know where that is. And there's a black Dodge Ram towing a trailer. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, there's traffic lights. There's 2 lanes. Can I get on the inside? Can I get my phone out and get on video mode quick enough? So the guy's like looking at it. He sees me frantically take my phone off the cradle, start doing this, put it in selfie mode, point it that way. And they're like, hey man, that got a Hemi? And he looked bewildered, but just gave me this big grin and a thumbs up. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad that went well.
That could have went 2 ways.
It really could. Yeah. And, being that he's likely a farmer, there was probably a gun in the back of that truck. No, it's the UK.
Love it. Our Dodge Hemis actually come with gun racks in America. It's
pre-installed, I'm sure.
Second Amendment right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
and the front's like cup holder, pistol holder, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's large enough to fit an 84-ounce Junior Cola and
in a dip can.
Yeah.
Yep. Spit cup.
Spit cup. Oh man. But yeah,
it's got a Copenhagen dispenser right there of eight rolls. Boom. Just pop it out. Put in that dipper.
There you go.
I live in North Carolina. I'm gonna get murdered.
One of my lifetime ambitions is actually to have a beer de Leer.
Beer de Leer.
You slot the cans in.
There you go.
So Tom,
life of the party right there.
Let's make this all about Tom, since we didn't talk to him forever.
Whoa! All right.
You got a new shirt, man. What do you got going on there?
I do. It is a prototype. We're trying to get some print ups for our Project Mayhem T-shirts. So Ryan would appreciate how difficult that really is. Now, it is not easy to get the right material. Right now, we're having a hard time getting materials. I don't know if you guys are having the same problems. We just can't get. That's why it's been held up for so long. So we had an idea what we needed, and then we couldn't get that shirt. And then we couldn't get it printed, and we're having all this mess. So, so we just got this first one up. So hopefully soon you guys will be seeing this. Ryan helped me with a couple little design changes too. We're going to bring the logo up. We're going to change the colors, but kind of fun to see that kind of come through. So that'll be fun. So
speaking of supplies, I was a little nervous on the Smitty shirts. A couple of orders. Boomer was telling me that he wasn't going to be able to get hoodies. So we actually had to switch brands on a couple of things, which I was glad anyway, because I found a better hoodie to begin with. But supplies were crazy, man.
Everybody's got to have a T-shirt.
It's literally, it's just import right now. I deal with it at work right now. I've had wood that's been at port since February 21st, and they can't get trucks in to pick it up. February 21st, still waiting on it. It's unreal. And the shipyards are just stocked, and all that stuff comes from China, from Indonesia, Malaysia. So
you don't have a Brexit. So what's your excuse? We have problems getting shit in because we shafted ourselves. That's why.
Right now it's semis, man. It's semi drivers.
Yeah. On top of that, my business is affected as well, because what happens is when we have natural disasters go on, FEMA pays a higher price to these truckers, so they drop their normal routes, and or what they do is they say, if you want us to come pick your normal, you have to pay what FEMA's paying me. So we normally go from here, and then they're getting double or triple paid what they normally pay on a route.
Yep.
So you lose out.
Absolutely.
Well,
and industry is not being affected. Life coaching, bitches.
Yeah.
What's a life coach?
Me, I don't know.
Anyway,
coach.
Much as I love talking about wood and semis,
and loads,
and loads, and unloading,
and prices of loads.
Oh man, you guys want to start talking MSF? What do you guys want to talk about? OSB, particle board, MDF, Luan? Let's go. We can go dimensionals if you want.
I'm all about Luan.
I know a bunch about wood, boys.
He's the wood man.
That's a Rai the wood guy.
Ride the wood guy.
On that note, I think we should bring in our guest and save our listeners from this bullshit. Yeah.
There you go.
So Ryan, who is this week's guest? You're going to intro him for us.
This week's guest is one of my good friends from the community, Bruce Nelson. He's easily one of the most active and encouraging individuals in the DDPY community. He's routinely seen in the group giving encouragement, posting regular updates about what he's doing, as well as offering challenges through various groups, whether they're hydration challenges or push-up challenges or planking challenges. He goes out of his way to make sure other people are doing a good job, and then also tries to offer inspiration to them. And honestly, I'm excited to have him on, and so everybody go ahead and welcome Mr. Bruce Nelson.
Grab your drinks.
Hey,
Bruce. Cheers.
Cheers, Bruce. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, fellas. I made a special.
Oh,
I
nice
got my
Moscow Mule.
Moscow Mule. All right. I'm not a big beer guy, although I drank plenty of beer in college. Did it more out of necessity than anything.
You lost all that weight. You can be a little beer guy now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, I'm more of a vodka guy. So cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on. I really
Vodka and tacos it is then.
Yes.
vodka and tacos. Yeah.
You are the official taco representative of DDPY now.
Hey, that's a big thing. There's a lot of people out there that definitely support the taco. So
yeah.
I'm actually surprised how much it's caught on. It's flattering. Super honored by it. The fact that I even have a brand. To actually say that I have a brand is really strange to me. But yeah, it's been cool. You know, I love doing it. I love doing the groups like Ryan mentioned. And anything I can do to help inspire and challenge people to. I always say just be a little bit better each day, right? And we're not always going to be up. So just keep going. So yeah.
So yeah, Bruce, like you had said, you know, offering challenges, encouragement to everybody. Like we met at the PC at Summit, and you were one of the first people to stop and ask me who I was and, you know, how I had earned my spot there. And then you told me your story. And I think you were directly behind me in the photo line. And so we talked a lot there. I think it was you and Beverly and David Fiddler, and then Tom was a few people back. But it was just, and Jack was right there with us. But yeah, I mean, literally, it's like, I think you were the first person to add me on Facebook at Summit as well. So it's just like that right there. You're kind of actually the reason I became a bigger part of this community. Wow. I don't think I've ever really told you that, but yeah. So, and it's all because you were so kind and welcoming. So,
well, I appreciate that. That was actually one of the things I really wanted to do more of, was to try to be more outgoing. It's not easy, right? I mean, you guys, when you're in that atmosphere, it's so overwhelming. You know, it's like not only is there a million things going on, you got the people running around trying to do all the production and everything, and all these, you know, you're somewhat, you know, star-struck, right? You see people that you've maybe been inspired by, maybe you've talked to online, whatever you try. So that was one of the things that I tried to be, is more outgoing, and it's not an easy thing. But I mean, God, Ryan, you were such an easy person to talk to. So, and I don't know. I was trying to think, Tom, did we ever talk at Summit?
We did. We met, and then I'll tell you, my Bruce story was that we had the instructors meeting, and nobody, like, and again, this is like the thing. I'm a brand new instructor. Most of the people who are in there aren't even actively instructing, right? They're still kind of going through the instruction process. The majority of the questions that were being asked in this instructors meeting was to Dallas about the instruction process, not about the class. You were the first one that asked like a real serious question. And I was like, well, that's the guy. Like, I was thinking, that's the guy I got to go like mimic and be like, because the way you present yourself was so confident. It was such a really, really intricate question. It was like really well spoken. I was like, oh, that's my guy. And then I found out you're a Philly guy, and it's like even better. And that kind of sparked us talking as well. So
I was so nervous.
The sandwich or the place? Sorry, just
yeah.
Both.
Sorry.
I was so nervous to ask Dallas the question in that meeting, especially. And I was actively teaching in a gym at the time. I was still in training. But what I had done was part of my certification process where we had to get these teaching hours, right? And I couldn't get any volunteers at the time. It was just people there. Everybody said, yeah, I'll help you. And then it's like, well, let's go, let's do this. And it's like, well, I'm busy. I'm this, I'm this, I'm that.
Lead a horse to water, right?
yeah. It was frustrating. So I had just become friends with a woman through my son. They were, their kids were friends, or my son's was friends with her kids, and she happened to be the director of a gym. So I just screw it, I'm just going to go for it. Right? I just went up to her and I said, hey, listen, if you're ever looking to add more classes to your schedule, I just started, I can't be on your payroll, but I can offer, a 1 hour class, whatever. I could only do it so often. I started out with it was one day a week. And she said, well, let me see what I can do. Next thing you know, she's messaging me, we want you to start. And not only that, she gave me a prime time slot, 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. So, I just went in and started doing it. And I think one of the biggest challenges I had was getting people to realize that it wasn't a yoga class. All right. I had 99% women students. And most of them had some sort of experience with yoga, but it was a great experience. Unfortunately I'm not doing it anymore. The class just wasn't getting enough traction, and they had to fill the slot. But as you know, we do what we can. I'm still trying to teach online as much as I can. But yeah, I'm kind of going off on a million tangents, so I'm sorry about that.
Welcome to our show.
Right there on that one.
Yeah.
The thing I love is when you have a class like that and they've come in expecting something completely different, and I always tell them in the intro, this is not what you think it is. And my favorite moment is the arms out to a T, hook it up, and I just look at their faces.
Well, I've got a great story about that. It involves Travis. Is that I was teaching shortly at this one gym. Travis contacts me. We just started talking. He's like, hey, man, I'm in North Carolina. You're in North Carolina. I'm down in your area. Can I take your class? Are you teaching any class? I said, yeah, come on down. So my class is very meek, very mild. There's none of they don't know DDPY. They've never seen any of the videos. They've only seen me teaching it, right? So Travis is right in the front. Take it back. Okay. And everyone's like, whoa. But then within seconds, everybody's into it. They saw, well, that one guy's doing it. So that's pretty cool. And then everybody got into it and they were all screaming, yelling. That was the most energy we had. It was just because that one goofball. That was it. It was awesome.
It's almost inevitable at the workshops too, because you don't get at the summit, everybody screamed. We all knew.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah.
Yep. You go to the workshop and the people that know, they know. And you have 100 people in there, you might get 25 of them, and 4 of them are on stage that do that. And and I almost think that's where Dallas has started incorporating. They do a diamond cutter, and then he does a second one. Yeah. And I think it's for that environment. Hey, you guys fucked that up. Let's run it back. Yep. So
you almost have to.
Yeah.
I think I did exactly the same thing to my mentor, actually. And I visited her classes long before she became my mentor. And it was held in a yoga studio. I didn't know any better. I was at the back, and I hooked it up, and I got a few looks. Yeah. She just grinned.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it was probably when I first started teaching at that gym, Craig Hatler, he I don't know if he was in the area or if he was living in the area at the time. He reached out to me and he said, "Where are you teaching? I'm going to come take one of your classes." I said, "Cool, right?" So I told him. He came up. And, like you said, he understood the program, right? So he started being very vocal, and it helped with the other students. They finally started engaging more, with I try to help, tell them to verbalize, and this is the benefit, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't very assertive in the beginning, forcing people okay, we're going to be in push-ups all day long until you guys start counting. I definitely let them get away with being more
timid.
Yeah. So
if you want them to come back, you've got to cut them some slack. Let me tell you, you start doing that too much, they'll never come back. Well, British people anyway. It's
a fine line. I tell you, I had some people that they never came back, man. They were just like, I'm out of here.
It's funny to watch people do it for the first time. And Craig actually moved to North Carolina, and he did come to one of my classes, and I'll back that up, Bruce. My students were kind of getting used to DDPY, and he came to one of my classes, and he was in the back of the class, and he damn near parted the girl's hair, and
exactly.
by the way, he hulked it up, but
Good
What a fantastic saying. I don't know if that's a thing.
I've never heard that one
It is
before.
Oh man. So,
but
Nice. Brilliant.
So how did that lead into the question you asked Dallas at the summit?
That was his question.
well, so my question had to do,
How
it
to
was,
fight that yoga approach.
yeah,
It was
how
getting people involved. How to get
getting
them.
more people involved, because at the time I had a lot of turnover. I was having a lot of first day students, because word was spreading about the class. There was a lot of good feedback, and then so here's this is funny. So what happened was my slot was 8 to 9, and there wasn't any other classes that butted up right against mine. So in the very beginning, I was getting like 10, 12, 14 people, and they were staying for the whole class. Well, this Les Mills body pump class came in. And that's I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but that's a big draw class. I mean, they teach it in the gym, and at the full basketball court, 40, 50 people. It's very energetic. So now all these women, they all want to take the Les Mills body pump class. So I lost the majority of my regular students.
I'm almost positive that Kristen Nava lost her class for DDP Yoga there in Mobile to Les Mills.
Yeah.
They ended up replacing because she only had like 6 to 8 students at a time. And then the moment they brought that in, it was like 30 plus.
But that's brand recognition.
It's brand
all over,
recognition.
So we've been waiting for one to turn up in our neighborhood. There's one here. Yay.
So we need to start calling our class Les Mills classes. Get all these ladies in there and just fuck it up and do what we want to do.
That's why I'm in no hurry to finish my L1, boys. There's no L2 because I'm teaching DDPY LM.
Les Millsrables, you could call it.
Yeah,
there you go.
But and that's a dad joke brought to you by Boz.
I'm not even a dad. Fuck you.
I'm surprised you didn't go Los Miservilles with tacos, but
Oh man.
Yeah, that body pump, it's hard, man. But you know what they do? They have better brand recognition. They have better brand control more than anything, and they are all over the virtual space with virtual classes and everything else on an official capacity as well.
Well, and they constantly change up the routine, which I think is brilliant. So they'll, I don't know if it's every month or what the time frame is, but let's just say it's every month. They come out with a new song. They come out with a new routine that goes to that song. And the instructors are very clever. They promote coming out with number 452, get psyched and all that stuff. So I took the class. It's a great class. I mean, it kicks your ass, man. I mean, but it was disappointing. So what did I miss? I missed something. I know I missed.
It's just when you're talking about the instructors and how clever they are, and this body pump. Hit the mat number 42, hashtag boss bitch.
We were so in touch on that one, right?
Yes, it's
so in touch on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that whole approach to marketing, but man, they know the market and they knock it out of the park.
It does work. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've kind of got pretty deep into where you are with DDPY, but how did it all start? Like, how'd you end up? Why DDPY? I know that you are a lot heavier guy than you are now, and I know you'd lost at least 80 pounds at one time. So.
Yeah. So, man, I'd say probably the majority of my life I've been on the heavier side. Even when I was a kid, I was always kind of the one that got picked on. Let's just say, back when bullying was a thing and it wasn't frowned upon. I grew up and I always had it in the back of my head that I was going to have to do something. Went through college and I put on a ton of weight in college because I didn't drink in high school years. I was a kind of pretty nerdy, straight and narrow. I'll never drink. I'll never smoke. I'll never do any of this stuff. I went to college and I let loose, man. Put anything in front of me, and I was slamming it. And
that's what college was, man. So much fun.
That was me for the military.
Pledged the fraternity in my freshman year, and this place was like Animal House. It was nuts. So anyway, I'll fast forward. So my daughter was just born, and I was breaching 300 pounds, and I just felt not only felt lousy, I couldn't do anything. Like physically, I was always pretty, even though I was on the heavier side, I was pretty athletic. I mean, back when we were growing up, that was the thing. Everybody just went out and ran around. They don't sit on these devices, now. So, I'm looking at my daughter. She's running around like a nut. I'm like, how the hell am I going to keep up with this little Spitfire? And then, then shortly after, my son comes, and I'm like, I got to do something. Not only was I super heavy, I had no mobility. I couldn't move. I couldn't bend over. I couldn't do basic things. And I was like, I was getting really depressed about it. So people kept saying, well, if you want flexibility, you should do yoga. Like, the hell out of here, dude. I ain't doing – you crazy, man. The first thing that flashes in my head, I'm seeing these little beanpole women, right? And they're like pretzels, bent Gumbies. There's just no way. I can't even – I'll never be able to do any of that stuff. But I started searching on Google, and Arthur's video pops up, right? The whole search algorithms on Facebook detected me searching for yoga, and next thing I know, I'm getting Arthur's video put in my face. And I'm like – just like normal reaction most people have to that video. It's like, holy shit, this dude, he overcame all these disabilities and mental challenges. Like, there's no way I can't like not try this. So this was end of 2016, and the typical New Year's resolution was coming up, right? So end of 2016, I order the DVDs as a Christmas present to myself, and going to start January 1st, the typical, I'm going to wait until January and start. And actually, the timing was such that I actually ended up having to start on the first week of January by the time I got the DVDs. And I just dove right into it. Just followed the program, had the printed material, everything was mapped out. It's, if you just literally look at this manual and just follow it, there's not much to think about. And the one thing I do regret is I didn't document really anything in the beginning, probably more because I never really believed that it was going to work. Mm-hmm. Just like anything that I had tried throughout my life, trying to lose weight or it would be a short-lived, commitment. Try it and it would work maybe for a couple of weeks, and then I had my first pitfall and I'm done. It's not going to work. All those self-limiting beliefs. So, but this one was working, and I don't know what it was. It was something different about it. I fell in love with it, and then I dove into the community, the Facebook community, which was even more encouraging, and that's actually one of the reasons why I do what I do now with my own groups, because I truly believe that without that Facebook group, man, I don't know that I would have stuck with it when it really got hard. In the beginning, it was physically challenging, but as you go, it's the mental hurdles, right, that you got to get over. That's always the biggest challenge, I think. So anyway, January 2017, I dive in. I'm just dropping weight. I think about it back, I think how it seemed so easy to lose weight. I wish it was that easy now, man. I mean, the weight was just pouring off of me, and I'm trying to think. I don't know that I was making a whole lot of nutritional changes. I definitely made some, but majority of it was really just committing to moving the body, mindset, thinking about things differently, and eventually I did start honing more in on the nutritional side. So a year went by, and like you said, Ryan, I ended up losing. Actually, it was 16 months. I lost like 80 pounds, and I felt amazing. And everybody's asking me what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like seriously.
I mean, 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
At
mean,
least you didn't say only, because that's what we keep hearing. I only.
I know, right?
And Boz was like, only?
Like, yeah, seriously, like for the record, I lost 50. Like 50 pounds is a lot of weight to lose, but like in the DDPY community, you feel like, yeah, my minnow over here, I only lost 50 pounds.
Well, right. I mean, that's the thing, right? And that's that kind of that trap we fall into with the comparison. I mean, it's so easy when you're talking to people like, Justin Dobbins and, all these Vance and these guys that are dropping 200-300. I mean, Ryan, what you did, it's amazing, right? So, yeah,
it's okay.
Just okay. Just okay.
Yeah. Could be better. You kind of fucked up, but whatever.
So,
he knows what he did. He knows what he did.
That was great.
Uh-oh.
Selective abuse.
Yes.
Right.
January 2018, I decide to start certification program. And it's funny, I never had any intention to teach a single class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to do it because I wanted to gain a better understanding of the program. And just help myself, dive kind of deeper into it. So that's what I did.
It's a logical next step, honestly.
Yeah, it's weird because I remember my wife was like, "You're doing what?" Like, what? She gets all nervous. She's like, "What do you mean? You're gonna quit your job now and become like a right personal trainer and all this shit?" I was like, "No, that's not the plan." It's kind of fell towards that direction, but not really. Just kind of like another part of my life now. So yeah, started the certification program, and I'm still losing weight at this point. I mean, I'm only a year in. So I didn't really know anything about success stories and all that stuff. I was just kind of doing my own thing, and I decided to message Dallas on Twitter, and I had never expected him to reply. That was not my intention. It was more like a way for me to say thank you to him. And I wrote him this message basically saying, I wanted to say thank you for the program, for everything. I told him, high level, where I was at. And next thing you know, it was probably like a half hour after I sent this message, he replies back to me and says, send me more details about your journey. So I sent him this whole thing. The next thing you know, he goes, "Give me your phone number." Okay. Sent him my phone number. I was like, "What do I do now?" I sit here and stare at my phone, So anyway, long story short, he calls me. We have a good chat. I don't even know what to say to the dude. He's like, "You have any questions for me, bro?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, in 1999, you were wrestling the Undertaker. And
yeah, that's the funny thing is, I obviously I know who Dom and Dallas Page is, right? At this point, but I'm not a big wrestling guy. I was when I was younger. I used to watch like Bob Backlund and all, those guys.
Bobby B.
And yeah, my brother and I, we used to Saturday morning wrestling. We'd always be into it. So, but I never really followed it. I still kind of don't. I do through the community, but I'm not like a WrestleMania. I know this is like going crazy for all that stuff. But
it's going on right now.
Yeah. The only reason I know is because
everybody in the community posts about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't. If I'm rambling, just tell me to stop. But
you are, and we've been trying to give you signals, but you're obviously not picking up on them. So we're just letting you run, man.
All right. Is that why you're laughing? Because I'm supposed to be.
No, you're fine, man. Like
awesome.
This is your story, dude. We're just
right?
along for the ride.
Yeah, I know.
So, and I'm
not much of a guy to
talk
about myself, so this is tough. But
yeah, I mean, there are things I would love to hit on, like with you. You talked about the community, and
please do.
And I don't know if it's something that you guys even really want to jump in on right now, but my personal thoughts on where the community has been over the last like 4 or 5 months. It feels like there's a lot more strife going on in the community than there ever has been, with disagreements or people getting upset about little things. And I'm wondering if as DDPY has brought in Jacked, and now they're bringing in potentially some traditional yoga, and he's not taking DDP yoga on the road to these workshops to build it, so it's having to be built like broader and through these online spaces. It almost feels like there's less focus on what DDPY actually is, and so there's people from all these different disciplines kind of like trying to latch on, and they come into that community with like different, I guess, preconceived notions of what they're going to get from it, and it's led to like this really weird vibe in that community all of a sudden.
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. And I don't know, part of it could be because I've changed, but I definitely don't look at it the same way as in the past. It feels different, right? I'm almost expecting to see arguments now. Like in the past, you never saw it. It was so rare. Like every once in a while you'd have, somebody, but now it kind of seems more.
Well, I think in the subset, I think in the offset communities, you don't really get that, because that's what happens too. People get tired of that kind of mentality, because and I've said this before on the show, with the DDP yoga page, it's what, 55,000 people in there.
Yeah, there's going to be a few assholes.
It's going to be a few assholes in there.
People are being more assholes on the internet than they've ever been before. This has been like.
I was going to say, find another group with 50K plus members.
Yeah, it's just people.
And then compare the amount of strife. I think you find the DDP yoga page is way down here.
Yeah, I was doing the numbers, and for like active monthly posts, and it's actually for the membership level and then the activity in the group, about 5% of the people post their monthly, which is really actually pretty good for a group of that size. And I'm really surprised that the mods, whether it's Heather or Beverly or Stephen Doyle or any, Chris Black, any of those guys, I'm surprised they haven't started turning on mod approval for posts. Like, because a lot of groups of that size, you post it and then it just sits in a queue and it waits for somebody to say, okay, that's DDPY related, and then they'll approve it. And while it's a little bit more work on the front, it does have a tendency to kind of clean up all the dog shit before it has a chance to really hit.
I would agree with that,
because then you don't get the butt hurt after. It's like, oh, they deleted my post. No, well, it just didn't.
God. And yes, if you're for some reason watching this and your post got deleted, don't go and say, hey mods, why'd you delete my post publicly? It's not going to go good for you.
Right,
dumbass.
It's not going to go good.
Not only ask why
for it, and I'm going to post some salty gifs. Yeah, but just don't do it.
Not only ask why it got posted, but post the question or the statement that got it deleted in the first place again.
Right.
You post it in the comments though, so it hides it.
And how old is that Facebook group now? Do we think?
Was it 2003? Is that what it started?
Man, really that long?
I don't know.
I would say if you're new to this, you're watching this, and maybe you're not in that group yet, you're thinking about going in it. Look, there's some wonderful people in there. It is still a really supportive place. But if you have a question about
2012
heart rate monitors, for example,
dude, search
before you post anything, search the group. It's that old. The answer's in there somewhere, I'm telling you. And the question will be there with 97 responses as well, if you want to sift through all that.
Yeah.
I get that everyone I want a quick answer.
And then whatever your next question is.
Yeah. But you'll get a quick answer from 200 people. I would just say, you see what I did to the DDP Yoga page this week? So they posted a pick your wrestler name, ABCD, and then your first name, your surname, and mine would have been something lame like Cowboy Bebop, or I don't know. It was awful. So I just put in the comments. I put mine in as weirdly it just came out as wrestling sucks.
Wow, surprised that didn't get reported.
Exactly.
Yeah, so am I.
Oh man. Yeah.
You just got your level 2 status just revoked.
It just got reported.
You just got back down.
For the record, I don't hate wrestling. Okay, there we go. I said it. It's out there.
It's a fun gig. It's a fun gag. We like it.
But yes, and you know what though, is as far as us trolling one another in the group or anybody else, I can promise you it's all done in good fun. Mm-hmm. Unless you're Jared Leland promoting only eating vegetables, in which case, Jared, we got to stop, man. We got to stop.
Can we? Yeah, we should do a special and have him in one side, Justin Dobbins on the other. Ready? Go!
Yeah.
Our first ever debate.
Actually, you know what would be incredible? And if we could ever get this, if we ever end up at the summit, all of us together, I think Jared doesn't live quite too far from the PC, but I would love for Jared to cook a meal for Justin and Justin to cook a meal for Jared.
Ooh.
Granted,
Oh,
it's
wow.
asking more of Jared to eat Justin's cooking, but that
Yeah.
could be amazing.
It's awesome.
There's a pretty famous episode of Parks and Rec where one guy who's all vegetarian based can make this mushroom based burger, and it's the best burger you can possibly have. But then Ron Swanson makes a burger out of 73% beef, and it's literally just beef cooked with fire. And they make burgers for everybody. They have a contest. See who likes it. Everybody loves a mushroom burger. They're all surprised at how good it tastes. And then they take a bite of the burger, and everyone's like, "Nope, it's the meat one." And even he takes a bite of the burger, and he goes, "Yep, it's the meat one." That's pretty much how I think it would go, but I'm also very biased. So, obviously you've had you've been really influential. We've already kind of talked about, you encouraging the community and everything else. Outside of you referencing not documenting things, from the get-go,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to people that are just starting and or maybe aren't having the success that they would like to have?
Yeah. I think one of the things I always tell people, I mean, and I don't know if this seems like an obvious statement, but I know to me is having you have to shift to a long-term mindset. I think that's one of the biggest things that was for me really kind of the turning point, because in the past, everything's kind of, it's a quick hit, right? If you don't see success right away, just bail and try the next thing. Right. And having that just one day at a time. I know it sounds so cliche, man, but just one day at a time. Do what you can do today and then start again tomorrow. 1 day streaks. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're going to stumble, you're going to fall, all that, again, I know it sounds so cliche, but it's so true, is you just got to keep going and do the best you can. And honestly, comparison, just throw that out, because that's one of the hardest things. I say that's one of the hardest things about this community is it's so easy to compare yourself. There's some unbelievable people, man. Yeah. Whether it's physical or it's just, you got to try your best to just compare against yourself. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen this dude up here?
All you guys, man, seriously.
I compare myself to Bruce all the time, because my question to Bruce is, what is Bruce's workout day like? Because every video I see a DDPY workout, I see a weight workout, now I see jump rope and running and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, when does Bruce sleep?
And not only that, during the actual workouts, I'm watching too on Zoom now. We're taking water breaks. Bruce is out there doing jumping jacks. He's keeping his exploding knees going. I'm like, dude is a maniac.
Doing something.
You know what?
It's impressive.
I appreciate that, honestly. And not every day. I'm definitely not like that every day. But I do try to, definitely during the week, like Monday through Friday, I'm definitely trying to do my best to come out the gate strong. And that's one of the things that I've changed in my life big time is trying to do my best to get up in the morning, even though it sucks, right? 6 o'clock, that alarm goes off. I want to take my phone and just smash it in half. But I know that's when I'm going to I have the most time to myself. I have a solid hour and a half to just go at it before the kids are going. And God bless my wife. I mean, she does so much. I owe her so much. She gives me the freedom to do a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, with the two kids, my kids are 12 and 13. They're right now, our lives are crazy. If it's not school, it's sports, it's scouts, we're constantly running. And so the morning is that's the time I have to do it. And yeah, you're right, Tom. I do DDPY warm up every day, because my body, when I wake up, dude, I'm like, I can hardly walk down the stairs. I mean, and especially right now, I don't know. I got some weird medical stuff going on right now. I'm trying to get addressed. Or I think it's arthritis, but I don't know. I'm seeing a rheumatologist soon. But even now, like that, doing my warm-ups, the DDPY warm-ups that I do give me the ability to actually move and do some of that more challenging stuff like you're talking about, right? The jacked workouts, or the jump rope, or the lifting, whatever it is. And that's the variety. That's another thing. The variety, I have to have variety, because this stuff I mean, Ryan, you talk about it, right? You're doing this stuff for years. It gets boring.
Mhm.
I mean, it's going to get boring.
Do anything too much, exactly.
Right.
That's why I act like a fool in class.
Yeah, and that's that's another thing. The online classes, whether I'm teaching or participating, that stuff's a godsend, right? I mean, how many people have you had on, whether it's on the podcast or you've talked to through Facebook or whatever, that have said that saved them through, right, this pandemic? It's
Hashtag
insane.
life coach.
There you go.
Hashtag raining tacos. Sorry.
Baby shark. You want to throw that in there?
Yeah. I thought raining tacos was more appropriate today.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. It really is. It's how often have you heard, this dime a dozen is the base of everything? Well, if that's the case, then there's not going to be a ton of variety in the grand scheme of things. And there's only so many things you can do. And I'm sure that you were probably racking your brain, Tom, trying to develop a jacked workout that didn't already kind of exist. You're trying to carve your own space, whether it's from an instructor standpoint or just from your trying to stay entertained while doing these workouts.
And staying within the confines of being a certified instructor, which is another major problem that we always have. This is we've all gone off rail, honestly, if we have to be honest with each other, we've all
was never on it,
gone away. And it's caused growth with all of our classes, It's definitely caused growth within us as instructors. It's gone growth with all of our students. And I think they're understanding that. That's why I think we're seeing a lot more, as Ryan, you were mentioning, there's different variety in the framework now.
That's why I like about your instruction, Tom, is you always mention that, and I think the first time you mentioned it might be when you're in runner's lunge, is yours may not look like this if you're using a mirror because you're different proportion than me. You're
different
built
lever lengths. Yeah.
So it's like, that's why. And finally, we're starting to see it too when people go into like hood ornament and stuff, like using that yoga block, stay level. Like that's so
I do it all
important.
the time.
Yeah.
I don't try to make it to the floor. I use my block every time.
Because if you do, you're going to be opening up your hip and it's going to be all awkward and it's going to hurt like hell. And yeah. So, and I like that you, and I specifically remember you calling those, especially in those early quarantine classes, like last March, is how much you would stress that. Like, you'd be like, okay, well, this is how I do it. This is how it looks for me. And Dallas kind of touches on that, if it hurts too much, step in, which is kind of his way of kind of saying that in a way. But yeah, you reiterating that to the different students is, I think, so imperative to their long-term success as well, because it doesn't matter. You should only care about what's happening on your 2 foot by 6 foot space. But it's really difficult to not look around and see everybody's legs slightly higher or somebody a little bit deeper.
Sure.
I think it's healthy to have that competition a little bit, drive yourself, push yourself, find that line of discomfort and just kind of ride it. Yeah. Even inversions, like I know I'll never do because my shoulder won't allow it and I'm not going to push it because that as much as my ego wants to hit that and I want to clip it and I want to make sure I can do it, just it ain't worth it. So,
right.
The important thing is, where did you start? Where was your strength? How did you feel? Where are you now? Has it moved from there to there? Does it feel easier? Is it less painful? Is your posture better? That's what I take from Roundhouse. My position in Roundhouse now is way better, but it's still about here, shoulder height maximum. Right.
Well, that's one of the things I was just going to say, is it stressing using the blocks, modifications. As instructors, it's so important to do that, because I think we have that mindset, like you were saying, or we want to challenge ourselves. But at the same time, you got to work your way there, and you can easily hurt yourself if you try to push too far, too fast.
We've seen that all the time, right? A lot of our friends, this happens all the time. They're out for weeks, and it's over something that's 2 inches, right? That's it. It's like the smallest little change, and that's it.
It's exactly right.
Oh, fuck you, man! Damn it! I said that so horribly.
Well, even myself as an instructor, I've been modifying. I mean, for about 8 weeks, I popped my shoulder, and for the first 2 weeks, I did strictly stand-up workouts.
And you did that shoulder injury doing nothing, right? Like, you just don't know. It wasn't like anything. You just have no idea. Our bodies are so fragile.
I got a tweak in my shoulder right now. I sneezed too hard at work the other day.
Isn't that crazy? It's always something so silly, right? Do all these challenging things with our bodies, and then you're walking down the street and do something. Raise
Damn
your
sure
arm
weren't
up.
15 years old. Sneeze hurt anything.
No, dude, I was in one of Travis's live workouts the other day. I hopped in like last minute, and I didn't have any time to prep. I'm like, oh, I gotta go take a piss. So I run to the bathroom, and my son's in the way, so I kind of swing around him. As I swing around him, that my left knee that's been repaired multiple times blasts it right on a door casing. And I'm still working through it. And it's just one of those, like any other time would have been no big deal. It's just those are the things that just wreck you. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm modifying for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was just talking to a buddy of mine. The guy is like a physical specimen. I mean, the dude's jacked. He's in incredible shape. He does all.
That name's taken.
Yeah,
actually.
Sorry.
So I hope you're talking about that guy.
Dr. Two Jacked,
Actually,
apparently.
isn't that your number too? Sorry. Anyway, so I was just talking to him the other day, and he says, "Yeah, I pulled my twisted my ankle." I said, "How'd you do that?" He goes, "Oh, I was teaching t-ball." What the hell you? Oh man, it's insane.
That's hilarious.
scary.
Wow. It is, but isn't. Wow.
It happens. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I actually re-injured my knee in 11U baseball because I wanted to show a kid I was faster than him, and I didn't have my brace, but I still won. I beat him home to home. Still beat him.
At what cost, though, Ryan? At what
Worth it.
cost?
To shame an 11-year-old child? No
Every
cost.
second.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Some kids you just got to put in their place, man.
That's right.
You know?
Actually, talking about kids,
I'll
right?
cheers that. There
Yeah.
you go.
But you know what? You know what? In all seriousness, he hustled the rest of the season. So he
There you
ran
go.
his ass off. Was he fast? No. But was he actually running for the first time? Absolutely. So because he wanted to show me he could get better. I mean, those are the things. So
That's
at what
awesome.
cost? I mean, my knee hurt for a little while, but it made him a better player.
There you go.
Yeah, I was saying about kids and like extracurricular activities and stuff like that, like as it being in the blessed position of not having any. I just got to say, like, modern parents are getting gypped because I was a scout. I went fencing. I played tennis. I went swimming. All of those things I could do if they were within walking distance of my house. My fucking parents took me nowhere. So you can get a bus or you can walk, and you can do those things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, now everything's travel, man.
Oh,
Travel
dude.
leagues, because part of it is because these individual baseball, there's money to be made. You've got, leagues that are looking for recruitment, but also you have a local baseball league. When I was in 11U baseball, we had 13 teams, and that league now has 2. And so they have to do travel because the other league that had 13 teams and could have their own schedule, they only have 3. So now you've got 5 teams.
Yeah.
They used to have 26, so travel, even if it's not travel for a competitive level, it's travel purely to fill out a schedule these days.
No,
so
I just mean training.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
a
that's what I'm
Thursday
saying.
night.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I guess everybody has to move where Boz grew up, and then
Yeah, for real.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, you'd probably drive to a training session where we'd go on holiday. That kind of distance.
I did more shit, Bozo, than I've done my whole life when you were a kid. Your parents really want you around? You did fencing? I mean, how much shit did you do as a kid?
I don't remember doing hardly anything except going out and riding my bike around the neighborhood.
I pretty much rode my bike and played baseball. That was like,
Yeah.
I know I spent more time with my coaches than I did with my parents. If I counted the hours per week that I was with my baseball coach and the hours I was with my mom, I was way more hours than my coaches. It was really strange. When I graduated, that was one of the things I had a conversation with my coach. I was like, you're kind of like family at this point. It's really, really interesting. Those years, how important it is to be good coaches and be good role models and things like that, because man, you were spending so much time with those kids.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, and I still like some of the kids that I taught. I've got a kid right now who just went under a bone marrow transplant, and he was a kid I taught when he was 9, 10, 11, and 12, and still friends with his mom on Facebook, still get pretty much daily updates, following his journey. And it's just, you develop, you look at them like kids, like your own kids, and you actually give a shit about them, and you hope they do well. And you want to see him succeed. I've got a kid that I coached, and he's currently playing football for Ball State University. Like, those are things, that stuff matters. It's
Actually,
one of the best aspects about coaching.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it. That's where my parents really aced it, you see, because what they did was didn't really take me anywhere, but my coach took me to 4 other towns. He used to
You had
fence
it all
4
done.
nights a week.
There
And
you
he
go.
drove me everywhere.
They were at home living the good life.
That's right.
Oz free.
I know.
So, Bruce, you got any future plans for Dads versus Tacos? I mean, just more online workouts, keep running in challenges and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a day-to-day thing, but this I'm loving this latest challenge. I don't even it's going pretty well. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but we have a group of about 50 plus people, and we're doing a 1 million calorie challenge.
And you got a spreadsheet where everybody's logging everything, right?
Yes, yeah. It's a Google Doc spreadsheet.
If you're watching this, get on it. I see some people out there.
That's calories burned, not eaten. Because if you're struggling to meet target and it's about eating, boy. I should join because I could really help get you to.
That's my next challenge
in about a week, probably.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Boz, because when I first kind of teased it as a 300K challenge in 30 days, because I'm thinking we're going to get like maybe 10, 15 people that want to do this, right? So, and Jake Order was one of the first people that said, so it's an eating challenge, right? He's like, I'm definitely in. How many you and me, Jake, do I have to eat in 30 days? Yeah, so it's funny, but yeah, it's going well. It's running this group, trying to motivate people is probably one of the hardest things. is trying to keep people engaged and moving forward. And I mean, we're all busy, right? We got lives, and we're in a million different groups. And I just try to it helps me tremendously too, right? To stay focused when I know that I have other people that I might be helping. So, and that's really all.
I got to put you over, man. You are a very effective motivator. So you're a person, again, I talk to you all the time about this. You affect my life on a daily basis on most days. Like I see something you've done and it affects me in a positive way. And I almost see that every single day of my life, 365 days a year, the last 2 years that I've known you. You're very effective at it because you stay so adamant about making sure you're putting yourself out there to help other people. I don't know if any people are reaching out to you to tell you how much of effective you are. I'd want to make sure I take that moment now.
I appreciate
that. Man, it's phenomenal. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
Even on a motivational Monday one day, Dallas was talking about the community and how everyone in the community supports people in the community. And, some comments came up on some people's posts, and you had a comment under there, and that's not random. It's not a Bruce Nelson random comment. You're out there putting those good comments out on the daily.
I try because honestly, one of the things I've always wanted to give back. Because it was like I said earlier on, the community helped me tremendously, and I want to give back. And even if it was one person that I helped to keep going, right, where they might be thinking about quitting, I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need it. Just I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard to talk about it, but because I'm not one to talk about myself. But I try to do what I can, and I think the group's going well. I have my DDPY live workout group, but my other group, which is more of the motivational type stuff, is it's really where I spend the majority of my time. And
that would be Our Health 365, I think. Is that right?
Our Health 360.
Yeah, I don't even know.
There's 5 days off. 5 days off on those.
Yeah, so that would be all the bank holidays. So
yeah.
5 cheat days a year.
Because 360, it wasn't even supposed to be days, and I don't even know if the group.
It was a full circle.
All the way around.
Turning your life, around.
You're a big Xbox gamer, and you're a big fan of Xbox 360.
That's it. That's right. Yeah,
makes sense. So trying to appeal to those younglings. So, all right, Bruce, I've got we've kind of been surface level, but I want to get down to the nitty gritty. When you're eating a taco, are you eating it traditional Mexican style, or are you eating American with cheese, sour cream, lettuce?
Yeah, I guess that's if that's what it's called. If it's American style, I'm definitely putting lettuce and sour cream on there. Yeah.
Bruce, got a 5-year-old Tom question for you here. I got my Taco Bell child's menu. Do I get a crunchy taco? Do I get a soft taco, or do I get a chalupa?
A what?
Oof, wow.
Oh,
Well-
Boz doesn't know about chalupas.
Oh, well, I think you have to dive into that, right?
Well,
Yeah.
just side note, big Ryan here, talking. There is no chalupa on a Taco Bell kids menu.
There's not.
You're gonna get
I
nacho.
know.
You're gonna get a cheese roll up, a soft taco, or a crunchy taco.
That's much better.
There you go.
We'll roll with that.
Yeah. First off,
Or you
before
could go hungry 5-year-old Tom. He's gonna order from the big boy menu, and
Ooh.
which style does he get?
Mommy
So
lets me go on the 99-cent menu today.
So what do you buy? What are you buying 5-year-old Tom?
All right. So first, before I even answer the question, I have to say that I am not a Taco Bell fan.
Mm.
It's okay to be wrong.
May sound strange, but if I got to go shell,
But they won the franchise wars. Sorry.
definitely going with the hard shell. You got to go with the hard shell. There's a couple different reasons why. Number one, you got to go with the texture and the fact that it's corn. And I try to do as much gluten-free as possible. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Typical.
So that's
And Boz, I would like to say cheers on the Demolition Man reference. I'm not going to let that go
Thank you.
unnoticed. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
oh, I missed that one.
I
That's
did
what he
too.
said. They won the franchise wars. So
Oh yeah.
high class dining.
No, I did hear him say that. Yeah.
Thanks to a young Sandra Bullock, one of my most watched movies. Anyway,
Actually,
What's a chalupa?
Isn't it okay? So a chalupa is like imagine like a pita. Okay. Imagine a taco but on a pita shell.
Okay.
That would be a gordita. Now they take that pita and they deep fry it.
Deep fry that.
That's
Ooh.
chalupa.
really? Okay.
No, I didn't even know that. I was thinking the gordita the whole time, where they wrap the soft around the hard, right? Isn't
That's
that
the
kinda
cheesy gordita crunch, my man, and that is
Oh,
chef's
that
kiss.
sounds like my jam right there.
Big Ryan knows the menu, doesn't
I was
he?
gonna say, man. I was
That's
Do you
only
guys
3
not
a.m.,
remember-
Ryan.
Have you not fucking watched my Motivational Monday video? I talk about Taco Bell fourth menu. Fuck you guys. It's 2 a.m.
I've
We're
never
drunk
seen your
as hell.
videos there, Link. I
No,
don't know.
no. I'll
It's
send
hard
you
to
one.
find. It's hard to find.
It's hard to
Clues
find.
in the name for me, gordita. Oh yes.
Oh, see.
Now, I will say, my wife is all about the soft shells, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Got to go.
I
with
would
the
just use lettuce.
What about a soft corn tortilla? Do you like a soft corn tortilla?
hard. They're okay. I typically put a little sear on that, but
Yep, that's what I mean. That's all the traditional
lot of
tacos are
stuff.
generally. It's two corn tortillas, fried on a flat top, wrap them up.
then if that's the traditional, that would be my go-to. Then
Yeah, so that you're gonna have chorizo, asada,
Oh, hell
or
yeah.
chicken, and then
chorizo,
cilantro and onion.
now you're
That's it.
talking. Now let's go, man. You're getting me on.
That's
You
your
having dinner?
traditional taco, man. That's where it is.
All
Now
right.
Bruce just needs to pop up a plate. Tacos. All right.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So Bruce, you're probably well aware that we've been building these hype mixes. Thankfully, we relaunched hype mix number 2. Greatest thing about this one so far is it's AC/DC free. What track would you
So
add
far.
to
Bruce picks
your
ACDC.
workout hype mix?
Now
That's
keep
a-
in mind, hype mix.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of boring when it comes to music, though, man. I always see you guys talking about some fancy. Brian's got all his little bands that he follows and all that stuff. I don't know any of this
tattoos. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. In fact, that was funny. I got made fun of yesterday because Aaron Johnson posted on Facebook asking about building a punk rock mixtape, and I posted Blink 182, and that got ripped.
Hey, that's pop
Hey,
punk.
screw them. Screw them.
Okay, just draw a target on your face, Bruce.
That's what he-
Seriously.
Hey, and stand
Big
by
fucking
your
deal,
choices
you
with
didn't add
music,
the
man.
Ramones. Get out of here. Fuck
Yeah,
the Ramones.
Stand by your
182,
choices with music.
Ramones.
Don't let anybody back you down off of whatever music you
That's
choose.
right.
Well, honestly, the stuff that I get kind of worked up with is I love Rush. I'm a big Rush fan.
Oh yes, that is
So,
more than
Rush
allowed.
5. This is
So
some of the
one of
best
my
songs really
favorite Rush songs is called "Working Man," and it's actually off one of their first albums. It's before Neil Peart was even in the band. So I'm a drummer, not as good as Hayden, I will admit, but yeah, I love drums, and anything that stuff just gets me going. So yeah, I always pop on classic rock. With a heavy Rush mix, I'm good. So yeah, Rush Working Man, I'll throw that in there.
Excellent.
It's funny. I
Great
never
song,
come
actually.
across Rush much, and somebody said it to me, and I didn't. oh, you should listen to this, and you don't, do you? You think, yeah, you humor them and you forget. And then one of the Guitar Hero games had a whole Rush section in the
Yeah,
guitar,
and XXYYZZ.
because I was playing through the game, I'm like, some of this is dope. I was like, and challenging. I was like, wow.
He doesn't like Rush.
Yeah, he hates Rush.
My goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
he's so
no,
upset
he
about
likes
Neil Peart.
Rush, but he does not want to talk about Rush before Neil Peart joined. So, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
Such a heathen.
His drum solos are like, I'm not a drummer, I'm not a musician. They blow my mind.
The guy's
like, just-
unbelievable, man.
I couldn't imagine. They're never different too. He does the same thing again and again and again on a 90p set.
Sounds like one of my classes.
He encases himself in drums.
That's the crazy thing is the amount of equipment he uses.
He uses it all.
Yeah,
he does use it all. It's not
there's stuff like there's stuff he used. I don't even know. He got everything. He's a full percussion section. He's not just a drummer.
Yeah.
I love those setups.
Danny Carey from Tool is a really good modern day example. Similar approach, just a full 360, really, really unique. Water drums and all kinds of percussive material that's not associated with standard drumming.
I'll have to check that
Carter
out.
Buford from Dave Matthews Band, also an extremely underrated drummer. Full percussion, uses he's got chimes and all kinds of stuff in back, and just watching him work is unreal. Very, very underappreciated member of that band. I'm
going to send you guys a video. There's this new viral video. This jazz drummer. I don't know what his name is. This is black guy, but it's got millions and millions of views. That he plays Enter Sandman just hearing it one time.
Yeah.
So
he gets
he's never
it really wrong, but only a drummer would know.
Was he wrong? Was he wrong? Really?
No, I'm being a dick. He makes mistakes, obviously, because
he can't get it wrong because Lars Ulrich is a garbage drummer and has never played it the same way as he played it on the album.
That.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just because it's on the album like that doesn't mean he's ever played it like that twice.
Yeah, just listen to Lars' live version and tell me who did it better. I guarantee the guy that just learned drums and had only heard the song once played it better.
What this guy does, he listens to a song one time. It just goes through one time. That's it.
Yeah,
he listens to it. He listens to it. He's a jazz drummer. He's awesome. And then he just goes through and he plays the song. And it's just
I've seen that. Yeah.
Insane.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Although I watched that video and I said, okay, that was impressive, but I would like you now to do the same thing with Dead Skin Mask by Slayer. And then I'll be really
That's actually on my Hypenix 3 selection.
Just a lot of double bass.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got another one for you, Bruce, here. See if you guys can figure out the context of this. So who do you got in a tag team fist fight? Mr. Diamond Dallas Page and his partner Joe Frazier
Philly guy
versus Wilt Chamberlain and Rocky Balboa.
Ooh,
man, that almost sounds like a Wilt Chamberlain. I don't know, man. I've always been a big fan of Joe Frazier. I think I got to go with DDP and Joe Frazier. Yeah.
God, a Philly guy votes against Rocky. That is just you get demoted. You'll just get thrown. You can't walk into a Wawa ever again.
Hey, that's 2 times in a week you made a Wawa reference.
Yeah,
because I'm a Philly guy. I love this shit.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
I love you guys.
So the idea behind it was DDP being a fake athlete and Rocky being a fake boxer versus a real boxer and a real athlete. That was.
I love it.
What was wasn't Chamberlain? Didn't he play? What was that? He was in a movie. The heck was he in? I mean, it would have been a couple movies. I'm trying to think. He was in some weird, like a post-apocalyptic movie, wasn't he? Something.
I don't know. But
I was booted and I got your Rush
dropped earlier too. That was funny.
I was booted. All I heard was Rush. I didn't hear the song.
Yeah, we thought you got like offended or
we
something.
thought you left.
Yeah.
No, I love
Rush. Rush's Working Man.
It's a great song. Call me the working man.
Working Man. I love Rush.
Fucking Geddy Lee.
So I think as far as you guys are with your tally, right? That there's not that many people to vote for
yeah, it's
DDP.
only like number 3 that has picked Dallas to go over.
My favorite was definitely the narrator. I got to tell you a funny story about that though. I was listening to the pod. I actually listen to the podcast more than I watch it because I'm typically out walking or running as I'm listening to it, and I was literally going to order the audio book. I mean, I had it in like my queue, like the shopping cart, and I'm hearing this, you guys talking about it, and that's one of the biggest things with audiobooks is the narrator. If it's a shitty narrator, the book's ruined. It's totally ruined.
Yep.
That's why David Goggins set the bar so high for his book. If you've ever heard of,
I have that one. Yes, I'm listening.
Wow, his is. I mean, I did his first. He was the first Audible book that I had, and then I went to the Dallas. I was like, oh, this is so disappointing, man.
Yeah. Weird choice. Weird choice. When you sign those contracts, you think and I doubt Dallas will ever do it again. Because
what I did with him was I slowed him down. You know, you can change the speed.
Mm-hmm.
I slowed that guy down because he's just talking too fast. You know, he's like,
don't just think it. Ink it.
I'm a 2X guy on all audiobooks.
Yep.
Just so we can get through a book half the time. Exactly. Yeah.
Purposes. Yeah.
Actually, one of the things I lament about the UK is the Mexican option here is lame. It's so hard to come by, and it's usually
you're pretty far from Mexico. So
literally,
Yeah,
the very
exactly.
first thing after coming back from being over,
we're pretty far
over
from
there.
India, Tom. There's an Indian literally on every street corner. So yeah.
How did that happen? Like, what is the relationship between that? Because that is a huge thing over there.
Mm-hmm.
How did
we used to own it?
Yeah.
Country.
It's just
was
because of
ours.
that, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because it was colonial, so we had people.
We used to
moving
own us.
backwards
How
and
come we don't
forwards.
have your shitty food?
Well,
We do.
Why
We
are we
do
that shit out?
Why are we eating beans and toast, right?
But what I don't understand is why we have a Chinese restaurant next to every Indian restaurant in every town as well. There are thousands of Chinese restaurants here.
Actually,
Maybe that's the Hong Kong link.
I'll
You know
take.
where I
I'll
didn't
take
see a Chinese
Indian.
restaurant was
I'll take
Mexico.
curry over freaking Taco Bell any day, though.
I have a nightmare story about when I went to Manchester.
I'm going there tomorrow.
I was there for 2 weeks for work. I got sent over there and trained from one of my previous jobs, and I'll never forget it. So like the first day, great. I had a great time. People were amazing. Right, it was so much fun. But first day at work, they're like, "All right, we're gonna go." We go to the pub across the street for lunch. And I'm like, "You go to a pub for lunch? I think I'm gonna like it here." Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, we're gonna go. So we walk across the street, and literally across the street from where we're working, and they're hand pulling the beer and everything. And two things I thought was funny. But the reason I started telling the story was they said, I said, I don't know what to order. So just order me something to eat. And the guy's like, okay. So the guy's like, yeah, I need 2 chip buddies.
Jellied eels.
Two chip buddies. And I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. Let's try it. Here it comes out. It's a hamburger roll with thick cut steak fries smashed into this hamburger roll with mayonnaise. And that was the sandwich.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
Have you ever heard of a chip buddy? Is that something you've ever heard of?
Well, I'm surprised you heard the word butty because that's the where I'm from version. If you're in Manchester, they'd call it a balm.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe
a chip
actually,
balm.
You know what? Maybe maybe the place wasn't. We were in Sheffield. Is that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Is that different?
Probably. Yep, that's where my family's from. So yeah, it probably would have been a chip butty in Sheffield.
Okay. I guess I'm not real familiar with the regions, but it's a major city, right? Manchester was the biggest city in that area, or no?
Yeah, it's a bit bigger than Sheffield, but they're opposite sides of. There's Lincolnshire and Yorkshire, not Lincolnshire, Lancashire and Yorkshire, and they famously battled a lot. So it's the other side of the Pennines. So yeah, don't compare them; you'll get in trouble. But yeah.
So I don't think that would fit into your menu, Ryan.
No.
Potatoes on a hamburger roll. Yeah.
No.
You can have the mayonnaise.
Oh, I'd eat the shit out of mayonnaise.
So anyway.
No, my fun fact: my grandparents spent their wedding night in a bomb shelter in Sheffield while the Nazis tried to bomb the shit out of it because Sheffield's famous for its steel works and it made munitions, so it used to get attacked a lot.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah. The other thing I thought was odd was everybody was ordering Budweiser.
They like it here.
It was like a delicacy. Like, oh, that's a.
Yeah.
It's kind of like everybody when Stella came here. Everybody all the bros ordered Stella. It's like it kind of sucks, guys.
No, but you see, you went for lunch, so Bud is a lunchtime beer because it's basically, let's face it, it's piss
Water.
water. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
alcohol in it. So like the proper real ales and stuff, you drink that in the evening.
Yeah, I went for the Guinness, but I did regret that. Chip
It's a
Buddy
heavy
and a
lunch.
Chip Buddy and a Guinness. Man, I was like, "Where's the
What
bathroom,
an introduction to your culture.
What can I get you, sir? Carbs. Just all
Yeah.
the carbs.
All of them.
Yeah, and then they put
No
me
idea.
they put me in a what do you call it? A bed and breakfast, and they gave me a car. It was snowing, so my first introduction to driving on the wrong side to me,
Opposite side.
right, steering wheel on the other side, and shifting a manual.
Oh, yeah, geez.
Yeah, so I'm
Sounds
doing
fun.
Yeah, we
shifting
don't
with
do
my right,
automatics.
driving in the snow. I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna die. Yeah.
In Sheffield, like where the hills are like this, one of my earliest memories is my mum used to have a Reliant Robin. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a little 3-wheeler car, basically with a
Oh.
motorcycle engine in it.
It's like a
So
jalopy.
she had it was her and us 2 kids in the back and luggage, and we were going up to Sheffield, and we got to the bottom of this hill, and we got about a third of the way up. The car just went, nope, I don't have enough torque. Just couldn't get up this hill. So yeah, that's Sheffield. So moving on, I'm moving Thomas to the hotspot. It makes his internet better, apparently. So according to John Reap.
Bruce is screwed.
It's
Good talking to you,
nutrition
Bruce.
segment
Take care.
time.
You know?
So yeah, we have,
Evidently, it must be the opposite corners because it's either me or you, Tom. Me or you.
It's that North Carolina connection.
That's it.
Strong infrastructure.
So we have a nutrition segment for you, ladies and gentlemen. We did tease it, you know it's coming. And the title of this week's is I Have a Gluten Intolerance. Suggested by undiagnosed people everywhere. I did not write it. Okay, over to you, Tom.
Awesome, guys. Well, we talked about this was going to be coming up, so we're going to talk today about gluten. So gluten's a very controversial topic, and it's one of the hottest topics in nutrition. The gluten-free industry is huge, and more people are following gluten-free diets more now than ever. Grocery stores are filled with expensive gluten-free alternatives. Some of the general public now fear gluten due to well-marketed books and social media experts claiming that gluten is the worst thing since sliced bread. See where I went there? So you could. Is gluten perfect? Now the question is, guys, is gluten a poison like some experts claim? Are there any legitimate benefits to eliminating it from your diet? Do gluten-free diets result in more fat loss or better health? So as always, let's look at this as we always do, using science and logic. So the most important question is, what in the hell is gluten anyway? So many polls conducted to people who actually follow gluten-free diets have no idea what gluten actually is. So what gluten is simply a natural protein found in wheat, barley, and rye that acts as a binder to literally glue food together and give it its shape. The Latin term gluten literally means glue. Now, gluten gives bread its fantastic chewiness and helps it rise and keep its shape while baking. So if you're eating pizza, you know, that nice little stretchy bit that we get eating a pizza crust, that's all due to gluten. Now, it's also used as a thickening agent in various food products and is even found in cosmetic products. Now, thanks to the global global prevalence of wheat, gluten is one of the most highly consumed proteins on the planet. Now, humans have been eating gluten-containing grains for tens of thousands of years. But now health pundits everywhere are up in arms about the supposed dangers of this molecule, which include things like weight gain, systemic inflammation, joint pain, autoimmune disease, cancer, mental fogginess, headaches, heart disease, and much, much more. Now, the real rise in population of the gluten-free products happened when gluten-free was associated with weight loss. According to a survey by the Consumer Reports National Research Center, they state that 63% of Americans believe that a gluten-free diet could improve their mental or physical health. And up to 1/3 of Americans are cutting back on it with the hope that it'll improve their health or prevent disease. So the question I want to answer today, guys, is any of this warranted? Well, there are 3 distinct cases where this might be true. Now, the first is a condition called celiac disease. People with celiac disease have an autoimmune reaction that is triggered by eating gluten. They develop inflammation and damage to their intestinal tracts and other parts of their bodies when they eat food containing gluten. Now, this damage reduces nutrient absorption and can persist for many years after gluten is eliminated from the diet. The result is chronic gut inflammation, microefficient deficiencies that increase the risks of disease and possibly even death. So this is a very, very serious condition that can lead to multiple medical complications. And in this case, gluten must completely be eliminated from these diets. Now, the good news is that current estimates suggest that only 1% of the population has this condition. So if we're in a room, 1 out of 100 people may have celiac disease. The bad news is roughly 80% of celiac cases go undiagnosed, and the average time for diagnosis is up to 11 years. Now, celiacs can be medically diagnosed through a blood test followed by a biopsy of the small intestines. So if you personally notice any symptoms where you eat gluten-containing foods or have any other reason to suspect that something is wrong medically, you should see your doctor and get tested for celiac disease. There's a very, very high results with that test. Now, the second case of 1 of 3 is that we're talking about people who have true wheat allergies. And this is when your body has a hypersensitive immune response after consuming wheat-containing products. Now, just like celiac disease, however, wheat allergies are very, very rare and can be 100% verified through medical testing. Now, the third case is the tricky case, which they consider non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Now, this is where celiac negative patients still exhibit physical side effects after consuming gluten. Now, this term reached its height in popularity after a study that was published in 2011 suggested that gluten can cause illnesses in people who do not have celiac disease. The study was very small, and the author and other experts urged restraint in interpreting these results. However, mainstream media had other plans. This breakthrough research was broadcasted far and wide, and suddenly millions of people with vague GI problems had something to blame. The gluten-free market took off overnight, and it continues to grow, with sales projected to be over $2 billion in the next year. Now, here's something fun. That same research team that published the 2011 study that sparked an overnight food scare continued their gluten research and published another paper in 2013 to shed more light on the subject. Now, the study was small again. It only had 37 people who believed they had non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Now, you guys have heard of placebo. Have any of you guys heard of the term non-SIBO or nocebo?
No.
So you guys know what placebo is. Let's say we're talking about a drug. We're giving a patient a sugar pill, and we're saying that it's a Tylenol, and they have a headache. So they take the placebo pill, they drink it, and their headache goes away. So they feel like that ingested material was a medicine. Well, there's another type of effect, which is called nocebo, where somebody ingests a non-harmful subject and actually has a negative side effect. So what they did in this test was they had people that claimed that they had non-celiac gluten hypersensitivity. There was 37 participants. They gave them 2 groups of foods, one that were considered gluten-containing foods and then non-gluten-containing foods. But what the research did was they switched. They gave the gluten food actually had non-gluten, and the non-gluten food actually had gluten. And they had the people ingest the food and tell them about their side effects. All 37 participants in the study that ate the gluten-containing food had side effects from non-gluten-containing foods. The foods that were labeled as non-gluten foods that actually had the gluten in it, they had no side effects. So really, really interesting study from the same exact people that started this whole mess. Now, some have began to believe that non-celiac gluten hypersensitivity is a poorly defined condition, and we still have a lot to learn about this. Now, in the last few years, more and more research has been providing validity to this condition. However, they still estimate that only 3 to 7% of the population may have this disease. So we're talking about 100 people in a room. 1 out of 100 may have celiac disease. 3 to 7 of that room may have non-celiac gluten hypersensitivity. So avoiding gluten only makes sense for people with celiac disease, wheat allergy, or those who feel unwell after they consume gluten. Now, for the rest of the population, eating a gluten-free diet provides no inherent advantage, and there is no significant scientific research to support that gluten-free diets result in more weight loss. There is no compelling evidence that a gluten-free diet will improve health or prevent disease if you don't have celiac disease, or you can ingest gluten without trouble. Here's another fun fact to consider. Gluten-free food products on average cost 253% more than their gluten-containing counterparts. So we had that same exact conversation we talked about Fun fact. That's a real fun fact. So we talked about the same thing when we talked about organic foods. There was no inherent health advantage and they cost significantly more. So here's the thing. Of course, future research will continue to study this. We may someday learn that at least some people without celiac disease or symptoms of intestinal disease are better off avoiding gluten. So my suggestion is, guys, if you have noticed in the past that if you consume gluten products and you don't feel good on them, that's totally fine. The best suggestion, in my case, specifically with dealing with clients, things like that, is do an elimination diet. Simply eliminate gluten from your diet for 3 to 4 weeks and see how your body responds. If you have significant improvements in the way you feel, stick with it. There's nothing wrong with consuming a gluten-free diet. However, the general consensus of saying that everybody should be on a gluten-free diet based on the science just isn't merited at this time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a fun one for me to go through because I had a lot of preconceived notions about the gluten industry. And it was good to kind of see that there is more research right now that does show that some people that don't have celiac disease legitimately do have some sort of a condition that they have not diagnosed yet that still have the same sort of side effects, but still kind of wishy-washy. It's the fastest growing sector of the food industry right now is the gluten-free industry. So follow the money.
Yeah, it is expensive, man.
I have two observations about this personally. One is that if you cut out gluten in one way, you'll probably lose weight because if you stop eating bread, it does help with that. But I did exactly what Tom suggests. If you're going to do something like this, do an N+1 is it experiment? It's me, and I'm going to do an elimination diet. So because and it's because it is recommended in the DDPY nutrition program to avoid dairy and gluten. I tried both, failed on the dairy thing within 3 days. I'm sorry, I love my cheese. So I thought, okay, but I'll carry on with the gluten. Carry on with the gluten because that's the thing everyone seems to be more worried about. So I did 3 months strict gluten-free. I didn't lose any weight because I then targeted it on this industry Tom just mentioned of the gluten-free. So, that muffin's gluten-free. Yeah, it's full of fucking sugar.
Yeah.
So gluten-free Doritos, gluten-free Oreos.
But yeah. I mean, there's stuff like I've mentioned. I've moaned before about I don't know, it was wine gums or fruit pastels, which is a gelatin-based sweet covered in sugar, and they put gluten-free on the packet. Well, duh, it never had gluten in the first place. But things like muffins where you'd expect it to have gluten, I'd have them occasionally. I did 3 months, no gluten whatsoever, and then I had one weekend where I ate bread, pizza, like I OD'd on gluten, and not a single side effect. So I'm like, well, I'm clearly not in the least bit intolerant.
Sure.
And that's the way to be sure.
Now, this does vary with other people, right? So I have a particular client that anytime they would go to a restaurant, eat bread, or have any sort of pasta, their weight would significantly increase over that weekend. They would feel terrible. Their joints hurt. There are some people that probably have that non-celiac gluten sensitivity, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, right, now we're going into a store, and I sent you guys this picture a while ago, a pork tenderloin that says gluten-free, or water that says gluten-free, or any of these other food products that literally never had gluten in it to begin with. Now they're marketing it as gluten-free. They're marking the price up. And an uninformed consumer will say, well, I'm scared of gluten because gluten is going to make me die. And I have to buy this product because this is what's meaning healthy. But again, going to Boz's thing, eating a bunch of candy is because it's gluten-free doesn't make it better for you. Right. As Ryan just said, eating a gluten-free tortilla chip doesn't make it any better for you. We're still eating.
It actually goes right back to placebo again. I've been gluten-free for 15 minutes and I've never felt better. Like that's the thing is you paid more for your gluten-free bread. You still ate 4 slices of gluten-free bread, but in your head, there's less guilt involved because it was gluten-free. It's that mental battle when it comes to nutrition. You convince yourself that you can continue to overeat or overindulge. But because you're overindulging in these healthy marketed things, you feel okay. Like, let's be honest, you can walk into Whole Foods and still eat like shit. You're just going to pay more. That's all it is.
But it's the same as the low fat. It's like it's the new low fat thing from the 80s, isn't it?
Yep,
exactly.
And we're seeing these cycles now. We're seeing the cycles of all the different buzzwords in the industry, and it's sad, but it's the truth. It's marketing, it's the buzzwords. It's getting people scared, and people are what's the good thing is people are very concerned about their health right now, but it couldn't be a more confusing time to understand what's truly healthy. And that's why we do these segments every week, is that maybe there's something that I love researching this shit because I learn something every single time.
Right.
And I love telling people the nocebo effect. I know nobody's ever heard of that. It's one of my favorite things in science. And that study is the same group that caused this big giant uproar, right? They are so embarrassed by the fact that their research was the one that caused this problem. Honestly, they've done retractions and things like that. It's never really kind of settled in.
I did that to my roommate in college and won $100. He bet me $100 he could tell the difference between Heineken, St. Pauli's Girl, and Rolling Rock. And so I poured St. Pauli Girl in all 3 glasses, and I made him write out. He drank each one. He even had a palate cleanse in between, and he wrote, H for Heineken, SP for St. Pauli Girl, RR for Rolling Rock, and he was just convinced. And we videoed me pouring it, everything, and he was so pissed. But the pompous attitude he had going into this. Oh, well, that's obviously Heineken. You can see by the way it's sitting, the way it's settled. Like, you would have thought he was a fucking, was it sommelier for beer? Yeah. It's like, oh, you're such a douche. It was fantastic, man. Best payout ever.
It seems the reputation there of Heineken is that it's a really good beer. Is that right?
It comes, number one is it's in a green bottle. It's marketed and packaged differently, and it's an import. So this
before craft beers here, Heineken was a very good choice.
Before craft breweries took off in America, Heineken was it was a higher end beer.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
it's always fun to hear that you guys laugh at us about.
Down in Atlanta sells about 6 million cases a year. So
Hey, Bruce, I don't want to put you on the spot now. I know that you've actually had a lot of success doing a gluten-free diet, so I think it's really cool to hear your perspective. If you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, again, I was gonna say something. So I definitely went very strict gluten-free, and it was mostly because it was promoted as part of the DDPY, eating plan, right? But I can't tell if I truly have a sensitivity or not. I don't do it 100% now. I do it probably about 95%. There are some times when I don't worry about it. I don't eat a lot of carbs, or I don't eat a lot of bread anyway, so it's not a big deal when I do have it. But if for whatever reason, let's say I had like 2 or 3 slices of pizza, the next day, my hands were literally be blown up. Oh, wow. Now, I don't know if it's because of the gluten or if it's because it's a lot of sugar, like breaks down in a lot of sugar, or what. I feel like I definitely have more of a sensitivity to high amounts of sugar. So that's another thing I try to.
Enriched white flour causes some inflammation as well.
Yeah, but I definitely don't feel.
Does it?
Does it?
Does it not?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Why would
okay, but well, maybe for some people, but
I get punched in the face after eating it. I mean,
No, again, everybody's
the Andy Samberg.
Yeah, everybody's different. There's your answer.
Everybody's different.
Yes, there's a big movement against white flour, white bread, processed foods. Again, looking at more of the processing and things like that. White potatoes got thrown in that mix because it's white, right? White rice got thrown in that mix because it's white. It's really strange,
the difference between white rice and brown rice is like 0.0.
It's minimal. In fact, it's really, really strange, right? There's so little difference between there. And the same thing if you put up I'll put this up for you guys. There's this really cool chart that I have of white potato and sweet potato that I show my patients. Right? There's really not that much different. There's an advantage to white potato. There's an advantage. In some cases, they're very, very similar in their nutrient profile. Yeah, I mean, obviously, one of the major things with the white flour is a lot of processed foods are made shittily with white flour. That's where it kind of goes back to that. There's, again, not a lot of evidence but Travis, that's where it goes from, right? It's the idea that the gluten in the white flour caused the inflammation.
How about that?
It's not really shown there. But again, some people are super sensitive to that, and some people can die from consuming gluten-containing products, which is cool. The other thing I want to let you guys know as well is that anytime you restrict yourself from certain types of foods in your diet, there can be some nutrient deficiencies as well. There's a lot of studies that show that when you remove dairy from your diet, you may have some certain nutrient deficiencies. If you go keto, there can be nutrient deficiencies. If you do gluten-free. So you have to understand, if you are restricting some sort of things, make sure you're still consuming a balanced diet, because you still want to make sure that you're not restricting yourself of certain electrolytes, minerals, enzymes, things like that. So it's all about the balance. We can do all of these things in a very, very healthy way. We just have to do it a little bit smarter than just saying, okay, well, this is bad, I can't eat that, because there might be some stuff in there that you're not going to get from other things.
And the thing, fad diet is the jump on the bandwagon thing, do the bare minimum of research and say, I'm going to do this thing now. And it's like, okay, you decide you want to try it. Now do a couple of weeks of research, really look into it, get the facts straight, then try it.
Yeah.
You know,
and trust the sources, because this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 major books that came out that brought the gluten-free movement. Wheat Belly is the biggest one. And it's a very well-written book, and it was a very highly publicized book. However, a lot of it wasn't really verified science, right? If you go to PubMed and look at the science that backs up a lot of these books, we can cherry pick any sort of study, and I can write a book that says that keto is the #1 diet. And on the same respects, then I can say carnivore is the best diet, and I can say that vegan diet's the same. We can write 3 books. They're going to be really, really well-selling books. People are going to become zealots about all those things. But again, is there validity that one is better than the other? Not necessarily from a scientific standpoint. It's the one that you can follow the best, the one that's going to benefit you the most, the one you're going to get the most whole foods, nutrients, and keep balance.
Yeah, if you're considering something, go and look for the contra argument. So like when I found out about DDPY, it all looked too good to be true.
That's great advice.
I don't believe anything at face value like that. I scoured the internet for negative reports on DDPY, and I found it back then really hard to find. So I thought, I'll give it a try. And it turns out, yeah, it's legit.
There was one guy named Ryan Nichols out there that wrote a scathing review.
It was okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. I went to this one class by some kind of doctor.
What a dickhead. He over-explained a bridge, and I left.
I told you I like that over explanation.
I know, that's why I love that someone appreciated it. One person.
I mean, it is. It's it would be cool if you went super in depth on one position, like way too long. Like, you know, Dallas, he'll sit there and he'll talk for too long about something that has nothing to do with anything, and then he'll count. You should do that, but explain it biologically why you are in this mood.
All right. If you guys pick the most just boring position, I will 100% do that. I will confuse the fuck out of everybody.
I stole the idea of going into alligator and then talking bollocks before starting the count. I don't know who started that. Credit to whoever did it. It's on the app. That's where I got it from. One of the instructors. And I do it every time.
Hayden does it. What he does is it's from Gator Country 2, I think is where that kind of generates from. Right. He starts talking about all that you've achieved throughout the whole thing, and then he talks a little bit longer, and then he says one more quick tangent, and he goes, okay, guys, let's count it back for 20. And then he counts it back from 20, and then you lower, and he goes, and just so you know, you just held plank for a minute.
For a minute,
It was Hayden. I got that
works
from him because I know he watches when he does that. He watches the clock because I've been in a live class when he's done it. So I kind of got the same that. And for me, it's what TV have we been watching this week? Lavinia always complains, bitches, and then falls out of alligator on purpose just to fuck with me. But I got a birthday card this weekend, and it said it was a beautiful card, but it was handwritten, crafted at home, and it said on the top, "We're holding plank for how long?"
Nice.
Happy birthday.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You got to sneak that in when you're doing workouts. That's how I snuck in 100 push-ups. I didn't tell them what was coming.
That's right.
Just kind of
that was awesome, Tom. And like honestly, I didn't know that the diagnosis for celiac was that in depth. I know of one person that is actually diagnosed, and they're only like 4, so it must be a diagnostic process, but the people have to go out of their way to make sure that she does not eat gluten products. And I can tell you that if they could, they would, because they're not financially stable to afford all of those, and they would not, because it's a special diet. She has 3 kids, and it's only for this one kid, because that's how they have to afford it. It's tragic. It's because her brothers get to eat whatever and have no issues, and to explain to a 4-year-old, you can't have that, it's
That's
a bummer.
rough, man.
All those allergies are rough like that too with kids.
Yeah.
That's really brutal.
Yeah,
one
so
of my
that's why when
nephews
they're
is like it, and his mum, when she's cooking in the kitchen, she has 2 completely separate areas for prep. Like if a fork that was used in the gluten-y stuff is put with his, he will have a reaction. He's that sensitive. I feel so sorry for him.
I have another fun thing. I found a travel agency that plans gluten-free vacations.
Oh my lord!
I'm not joking.
Money.
I'm not joking. I don't want to out them right now, but I did when I was doing that. That was one of the fun things I found that I forgot to mention that. But they will plan your entire vacation and the restaurants you can go to based on being gluten-free. So if you're celiac, that's awesome, right?
That's fantastic.
If you're just I mean, it's one of those cool things because, like Bob said, when you're preparing a meal, you have to be really, really careful in a restaurant. I can't imagine the if someone says that there's a peanut allergy in the restaurant at that point, I know that the chefs sweat because they can murder somebody. They can kill somebody based on negligence. So, it's really interesting.
I mean, have you got it on planes now? We have it on planes now. So if you've brought any snacks on the plane, please check the ingredients. If it contains nuts, do not open and consume that snack on
Which
this
is
flight.
hilarious because the plane I was on to go to Summit, I got peanuts
Yeah.
from them.
Gluten-free peanuts.
Gluten-free peanuts.
Here's
They're
your
like,
peanuts. Eat them in the
you son of a
arrivals
bitch.
lounge. There you go.
Peace.
Oh man.
No, well done, Tom. Well done. That
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, it's a great section.
Kenny's was fine. Yours was better.
Yeah.
Kenny's was probably better actually. You probably didn't have to listen as long.
No, that video sequence.
Oh, so ridiculous.
So much fun.
All right, ready?
Ryan nailed that.
Oh, what?
Ryan nailed that at the end of that. He just said, "We're adults."
We're adults.
Oh, that's
What another great mention.
my favorite line from the whole thing was when I said, "This is a family show," and John goes, "Well, I mean, we got families." I was like, "Yep." That's pretty much where I was going.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a fair ton of responses on that. So yeah, brilliant stuff, Tom. And that just remains for us to do our little closeout bit and say, Bruce, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Bruce.
Talk about your groups and
Please,
Dad versus Tacos, which is still the best. Like we all try and think of a really snappy name for our fitness classes or whatever it is we're doing, but like you just fucking crushed it straight away, and everything else is
Straight
second
away,
place.
it's debatable, isn't it, Bruce?
Well,
Yeah. Right. No. Yeah.
It was like 15 names in the making.
Yes. I think
right.
Stephen David actually thought up my first name, which I don't even remember what it is now. It was so long ago. But anyway, hey, guys, it was an honor.
He named you Bruce Nelson?
Yes. Yeah.
He called your mom. He's like,
amazing.
that's gonna be a Bruce. It's gonna be a Bruce.
That dude's been around forever.
Yes. He's an old soul.
My dad actually wanted me named Butch. I think was and my mom wouldn't have it. But anyway, no, guys, it was an honor. I so appreciate it. Like just to be with you all, whether it's on the podcast or not, just having the opportunity to talk to all you guys at once is awesome. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, find Dad versus Tacos. I mean, that's I'm Twitter, whatever. I mean, actually, that's the only one I don't think I have that because I didn't even think of it at the time.
the first one you mentioned is the one you don't have. Love it.
He's on Instagram. He's
Right.
on Facebook. Dad
But let's
versus
call the other
Tacos.
ones you're not on as well.
Yeah. Tell us about your MySpace.
You cannot find him on DeviantArt at Dad versus Tacos.
MySpace. I don't think I've ever even logged into that. Yeah, that's funny. The first one I said I don't even have it. So yeah. And my group, if you guys want the Our Health 360 group, that's probably where I'm the most active anywhere. So yeah, that's about it.
And
Is there an entry
we'll put links
requirement?
to everything at the bottom of both the audio and the video too, so that you'll probably get some random requests here or there.
Cool.
But yeah.
I appreciate it so much. Yeah.
And like always, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube so you know when we're going to drop new content. If you are listening to us on any of your podcast sourcing apps, go ahead and make sure you rate and review, help us get up in the ranks. You can find me on most social media channels at Butch versus Tacos. Boz?
Love it.
He was slings over to me. I'm like, yeah, I got to top that now.
That's great.
I am actually going to talk about the medal I've been bling sporting the whole thing. I haven't earned this yet. I'm only wearing it for the podcast. Smitty's run 1st of May, decided now. We are doing 5 hours of DDPY. It will be a Zoom group. The link will be published on links, places where you can find it. And you can drop in and out. You can do as many or as little of those workouts as you want. And big news here, announcing, actually it'll be online before this goes out, but Bruce is actually teaching one of those hours for us. So
Yeah, all right.
he was actually
All
one of the first
right.
people to reach out and say, I'd like in on that. Can I help out? And I was like, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Somebody's getting out of running.
Nice.
Running sucks.
Yeah, I'm still
I
gonna do the
I'll agree
run.
with.
Well,
I
I'm in
actually-
on that too. Whether you need me to do the 45 minutes by myself, or if they're tag teaming, or
By yourself,
Whatever.
nobody's in the room. It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah. Travis comes in, we'll all fuck off. That's it.
hey, there you go. The
The
easiest workout I've ever had.
You never know if the
45
internet
minutes
dropped that way.
safety zone.
Okay, so the last hour is I have slated as the better hit the mat hour, and as many or as few of us who can make that will turn up. Depending on how many of us there are, we will tag team that workout. We also have an amazing. He will be. I believe this. He will be a qualified instructor by the time it happens, but if not, he's still doing it. Is the mighty Steve Highland, who is based in Kent in the UK. He's
Yes, sir.
fantastic, up and coming instructor. I can't wait to train with him. He is doing one of the hours as well. And there is one more unspoken for hour, which remains to be announced and may be a secret up until that day. So there you go.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Boy.
Suspense.
Oh boy.
So
And if
have
you wanna
you
find-
laid the time down?
But by the time this goes out, I will have done yes.
Okay, sweet.
So-
I'll shut up.
And if you want to find us, we're back on Track Living. Find us on Facebook's best place. That's where our workouts go out. Beginners classes Monday nights free. Facebook Live 7 p.m. And then you can join our Patreon if you want to do Wednesdays and Saturdays with us on Zoom. There you go. Over to Tom.
Awesome. So you can find me at beunstopableathletics.com. You can find all my coaching services, live classes online at Project Mayhem. We have a fitness app now. So if you are interested in a VIP membership, you can actually join us.
So
and you have a
awesome,
full app.
Big time.
It's awesome. So you have full nutritional information. You have all sorts of different fitness information. And then also you can get all of our classes, schedule our classes directly through the app. So makes it one step easier. Just one more, we're just trying to give you guys the best services that we can as instructors. So that's the best way that we can service you guys. If you have any other questions, also, I'm going to just, again, Smitty's Run. I'm so excited. I've been training for the first time ever running in my life. Mark DeSico, coming to get you, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Come on for you,
Oh,
son.
he's coming after you, Mark.
I almost went there, Ryan, but
I
I
know
didn't.
you're going.
I'm glad
I
that it almost slipped out.
Mhm.
But
Uh-oh.
Mark, coming to get you, buddy. Trav, what do you got, man?
Have you got
All
mates
right.
rates on that app, by the way?
What's that?
I said, have you got mates rates on that app?
What's mates?
Friends and
rates?
family discount.
Oh, we can get you hooked up. Yeah, let me know. I will get you hooked up for sure, without question.
Sweet. Instagram, The Real Shamrock Fitness. Facebook, Shamrock Fitness, a DDP Yoga Experience. You can transitioncoach.ca. Myself, Dr. Marcel Dore, Kristen Nava. And sometimes even you guys step in with us over there. So 18 classes a week, roughly. Come check it out. And that's about it. Oh, Smitty's Run. Definitely. Smitty's Run, for sure. Everybody's talking
Supported
about
by
it.
Bruce there. Love
That's going to be the thing. I can't wait to see all the photos, the videos. All the shirts have been mailed out. Everything has, well, there's 3 packages right there. But they're local. They're local. So, So, yeah, I can't wait. It's exciting, man.
We'll do
Those
a
are
mental
either shirts or
ceremony.
black tar heroin. We have
That's
to
it.
guess.
Watch the
That's why
news
everybody
later.
bought in, man.
Watch
But
the
it's going-
news later.
I'd say it's going to a good cause.
Hey, it's all for charity, pal.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, it's been a ton of fun. Again, thank you, Bruce. It's been amazing. It's been lovely to have Tom back, and I can't see the ligature marks on his wrist, so that means the jack straps weren't too tight. And
There you
that
go.
just remains us to say, have a great week and hit the mat.
Cheers.
Hit the mat.
Cheers, Matt.
Better Hit the Mat podcast.
then with comedians, you got to let them do their bits, but you also don't want to step on their bits in case it's going to be a bit that they're going to deliver later that night, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right,
don't you be stepping on my bits.
I heard you were into that.
Seems like he pays for that.
Yeah, isn't that what the Shark Tank thing is?
Yeah.
Isn't that the name of your OnlyFans site? Step on my bits.
Yes.
Step on my bits.
I've seen your meta tags. Nut torture doesn't go without me noticing.
Stilettos required. Yes.
What is testicular torsion? Is that the medical?
Too soon.
Right.
We should
introduce
introduce Bruce Springsteen and then pop on fucking Bruce.
What?
Oh yeah, you.
What?
Did I lose everything?
Yeah, your audio's gone
Yeah,
like
your
into a
audio's
bottle and back
in and out,
out.
in and out.
Weirdly. Oh, I've missed Tom's
This
internet.
fucking square.
Where's your audio cord connected?
As John said, that's a bad place to be.
That's a bad place to be.
Sorry.
In your background, are you recording us recording you?
yeah, I was thinking that.
He's in his gym.
Yeah, that's right. I have
Talking about bootlegging.
my crew is back here. We're live streaming. No,
It's a documentary about Bruce going on.
no,
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's my setup. The tripod and like when I do my classes and stuff and film.
Nice.
Do you want to take it straight, or shall I lead you in? How do you want to do it? Oh, you're muted.
Your mic's off, Ryan.
Oh,
I don't like you enough to fucking talk to you. I muted you personally. All right, so
Personal mutes are pretty. That's a pretty drastic.
that's a new
measure.
feature. It's a new
That's
feature in StreamYard.
That's the new age. Slam the phone down for the kids that don't understand that. Like,
It's like, hey guys, I want to shit talk Travis, but I don't want him to hear this.
The opportunity was there. Fuck. I blew it. All right.
Did you?
Literally.
longest edit point ever.
Yeah.
All right. So
oh, I can't use any of that. That's the heartbreaking thing.
yeah, that is
Right?
bad.
Yeah. Or it is our last.
Behind the curtain, Bruce. Behind the curtain. And what shell?
Oh, that was the 5-year-old Tom question.
Oh, sorry, dude. Cut. Take it out. Take it out. Take it out.
I didn't think anybody was gonna go there,
That's funny.
but I got a 5-year-old Tom question. And if I'm at Taco Bell,
Hey.
5-year-old Tom's got his kids meal.
Mhm.
Do I get hard shell, soft shell?
Oh my God.
Fuck! Damn it! All right,
God.
run it back.
Damn.
Run it back.
Do not talk about kids menus and getting hard.
Oh,
Oh, I think I have a little bit of my drink left. I need that.
Yeah, let me take a little sip of tequila here to get myself a little more.
Oof, yeah, that's what you
Doctor.
need. Another shot.
Wow.
All right, let's run that one back.
When I go to a Taco
shell.
Bell bathroom, do I get hard or do I get soft?
That's a 40-year-old Tom question.
I think it depends if you're in Moline or not, right?
hey.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I gotta get
Oh,
some
yeah.
Fossa.
So drain it, guys. I'm not
Yes,
breaking the
sir.
seal because I've been drinking, so that'll be every 10 minutes after that. So I got to hold it.
Boz, was I have any issues, or was that just that one time clicking out?
That was the first
You'll
one.
have to wait till the edit, my friend.
Fuck.
All right, Tom, you ready to knock this one out?
So that's the best way that we can service you guys. And it's over something that's 2 inches, right? That's it. It's like the smallest little. Do I get hard? I blew it. I left all myself all over that stage.
I know a bunch about wood, boys.